Hey everybody, it's your old buddy Uncle Rich here for Who's Telling the Truth. Guys, today is show number 215. Today's date is April 30th. Nice job, Judy. And the title of the show is Drain the Swamp. Now guys, everybody's been hearing Trump with his drain the swamp, all his nonsense. But guys, rather than talk about his crooked appointees that he's putting in and the fact that he's actually filling the swamp, what we're going to do is, on the last show, we showed you how angry I was at Alex Jones. Guys, you got to remember, we do the show from Danbury, Connecticut. Sandy Hook is a stone's throw. It's 2 exits away on 84. And guys, we gave Alex Jones the old bada bing last week. And just to prove to you what we said and how we said it, and the idea that we're going to drain the swamp, actually, last week, we pulled the plug. Guys, without even knowing it, we pulled the plug, and now the swamp is draining. First, we're gonna prove our point, and guys, I said one thing: it's always about the money. So, Judy, let's play clip number 2 from last week, and let's see what I said, and then we're gonna have some fun on the backside. Number 2, Judy. Jones had a beef with Chiboni, the yogurt place. The Muslims and the aliens were working there. And then he started this stuff with the Pizzagate. And guys, it just goes on. And tonight, we're going to stop it. And hopefully, this guy, the same thing will happen to Alex Jones as what happened to Gawker when Hulk Hogan went after Gawker. And he sued them, and he ended up bankrupting them. Well, that's what we want to do with clowns like Alex Jones. Bankrupt them. Get them off the air. If you're going to preach this nonsense, and if you're going to try to trick the simple folk like Uncle Joey and all his buddies and pals, guys, I laid my cards on the table, right? And it showed 214, info whores, But now, guys, we only had 50-something views on YouTube. But you know what? One of those views must have been from somebody very, very important, somebody on national TV and on HBO, because on Friday night, only 4 days after we did our show, listen to what Bill Maher had to say. So, Judy, clip 3, please.
The Sandy Hook parents who are suing Alex Jones, who says Sandy Hook's was a hoax. And then Summer Zeros, I think is her name, suing Donald Trump, says he lied about saying that what she was saying about him was false. And I thought, this is the most important thing we have to do in America right now, is start penalizing liars. Because we are drifting further and further away from a place where truth matters.
Guys, this is what we have to start doing. Penalizing liars. Like Bill Maher said, we're drifting farther and farther from the shore of truth. It's getting to the point where people don't recognize truth anymore. People like Uncle Joey. People like some of the guys. I want to say hi to all my friends on Facebook. I'll try to get your names up during one of the clips. But I'm having so much fun with these knuckleheads. And guys, I hope I don't insult you when I tell you that your intelligence has been insulted by Fox News and the conservative media. But now we're going to show you how we can stop the brainwashing and stop the nonsense. And, guys, of course, people would say, Rich, you'd be foolish to take credit to think that Bill Maher actually watched your show and you're responsible for influencing them. Guys, I'm going to use the conservative approach and I'll say, can you prove I didn't? No, of course you can't. So guys, let's have some fun and let's play the whole Bill Maher clip now. Judy?
I want to first start with that Fox and Friends thing because it was very disturbing to me, and I just want to hone in on the lies because he broke his own record for lying within a sentence. He's done that many times. But I swear to God, he was saying that he was talking about CNN, and he said, "I don't watch it at all. I watched it last night."
He did it within a breath.
Within
actually.
a breath.
Yeah.
And okay, that's the kind of lie we just accept from him now. It's casual, but we normalized it. But he also said this week that Iran. We gave them $150 billion, which is not true. You know, he says James Comey released classified information, really important things that are not true. And I was reading about these two lawsuits, one from the Sandy Hook parents who are suing Alex Jones, who says Sandy Hook was a hoax. And then Summer Zeros, I think is her name, suing Donald Trump. Says he lied about saying that what she was saying about him was false. And I thought, this is the most important thing we have to do in America right now, is start penalizing liars.
Judy.
Because we are drifting further and further away from a place where truth matters.
I think you got to separate out the Summer Zervos story from the Sandy Hook story, because Summer Zervos has a case that she was slandered by Trump, who said that her story is not true. If, in fact, it can be documented that the story is true, that is slander, and though I'm not sure that she can get this done during the presidency.
Okay, but
after the presidency.
I'm just saying that Comey should sue Trump. Obama should sue Trump for saying that he wiretapped it. I'm just saying that I don't think we can leave this in the court of public opinion anymore.
I think part of the problem
That's what the liars want.
is that Trump lies authentically. It's who he is, right? Where, like, when Hillary was lying, you could tell that, like, it wasn't, she had to kind of architect it, right? It felt fake to her. So it was fairly meta.
She actually cared whether she was lying or not. I think one of them has a conscience and one of them doesn't.
Trump in the moment doesn't actually have a sense of whether he's lying.
Right.
I don't believe that. I don't buy that at all. I think he knows perfectly well that he's lying, and his entire career has demonstrated to him that he can lie without consequence. That's the story of Donald Trump. Period.
Yeah, no, I think he doesn't care if he's lying or not. It's not whether he knows he's lying or not.
But Ian was saying, and, you know, he can go bankrupt without consequence.
Yeah.
He can, you know, he can
Lie
say, he can say that there was no birth certificate without consequence. And who can say he's wrong? Look at him. Look, he's sitting there in the White House. There were no consequences. There are no consequences.
And that's why I'm saying we have to start.
Is that going to work? I mean, seriously, will it work?
Something has to, because we're drifting further and further from the shore of truth to the point where we're not going to be able to see it anymore.
Do we want to empower lawyers more in the United States? This is
I would think, like, I would expect to hear from you that we should be more litigious. That would be like the lawyers in courts are the answer.
Okay. Otherwise, we just seem to accept this. You know, we're in this post-truth world. People say that term now, like, oh, well, it's a post-truth world. What are you going to do? Trump lied to the FBI director. That's a felony.
I wonder if, like, that we're looking at this a little bit wrong, which is to say, like, we're looking at the problem as one of, like, you know, public figures lying to each other and people not caring. Maybe the people not caring is the problem. I mean, you can't make people care if other people are suing each other.
So I would say that people do care, that Donald Trump is locked at 40% support, around 40% support, because 60% of the people think that he's a liar and a person of bad character. Then you have to ask yourself, the 40%, who are they? And I think it's very clear that people have now decided that they are on teams, and they're on the right, they're on Trump's team, and so when a pollster is going to ask them how they feel, they're going to go with their teammate.
And guys, isn't that the way it is? They're going to go with their teammates. They're going to go with their tribe members. The like-thinking simple folk that think exactly the same way they do. I tell you, the conservatives, that's if you think like I do, you're fine. If you think any other way, there's something wrong with you. Right, Uncle Joey? I tell you. And guys, you know, the next clip we're going to do, and I'm sure you're familiar with the term winners and losers. Because Obama always picked winners and losers, didn't he? But guys, now we're going to show you a priest on the floor of the House, and we're going to show what he has to say, and then we're going to show what the Republican Party did to this priest. Guys, you're not going to believe this, but I mean, the Republican Party, I don't know, maybe, you know, if you don't like the same God that they do, and if you don't adhere to the same principles that they do, guess what? They kick you out. Yeah. And guess what they did to this priest? You're not going to believe this. Adios, sayonara, arrivederci. They got rid of him. Why? Because he wanted tax cuts that benefited everybody. And guess what? We don't do that in this country. The 1%, the Koch brothers, the corporations, they bought the Republican Party, and the Republican Party says, Father, you read the script the way we wrote it. You go off page, and guess what? Goodbye. So, Judy, let's prove my point with clip number 5. Speaker Paul Ryan forced out the House chaplain supposedly because he stood up for the poor.
As legislation on taxes continues to be debated this week and next, may all members be mindful that the institutions and structures of our great nation guarantee the opportunities that have allowed some to achieve great success while others continue to struggle. May their efforts these days guarantee that there are not winners and losers under new tax laws, but benefits balanced and shared by all Americans.
That's trouble. Reverend Conway was known to be blunt in his remarks, but asking for fairness in tax law might have been a step too far for Ryan. As you have requested, I hereby offer my resignation as the 60th chaplain of the United States House of Rep. The position is one which I did not seek nor strive to assume, but I have considered. Democratic and Republicans are asking Ryan to explain the move. Conroy was appointed by Speaker John Bonner and is said to be the first chaplain ever to be fired. Yeah, this administration, it's one first after the other. Right, guys? What, I think 50% of the cabinet's gone already in 1 year? 50%? And Trump hires nothing but the best? Nobody wants to work for him anymore. And I'll tell you guys, the next clip, we're going to have a little bit more fun because you're going to notice the religious people seem to think that Trump was appointed by God. And guys, listen to this blonde bozo preach, but I want you to hear the people in the background. Listen how they prod her on. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I hear you. Yep, that's right. Yep. And watch and watch how it works, because the next clip we're going to have even more fun. So Judy, let's have some fun with clip number 6. And guys, just listen to the prodding. Go ahead, Judy.
It's not that Donald Trump is all that perfect of a guy. We all know he's not. And we know that he's not necessarily perfect in every way that we would like.
But you don't care.
That's not how God works. He works through the ones he chooses.
Right. That's
we don't choose them.
No.
All we have to do is recognize them.
Yeah.
And when you recognize a chosen one, and you have the discernment to know that they've been chosen and know that that's the will of God, then your life will be blessed.
Yeah.
And if you come against the chosen one of God, okay, you are bringing upon you and your children's children curses like you have never seen.
That's right.
It puts a holy fear in me.
Yeah.
You know, and
they're picking the flaws out of this man that God has chosen.
Right. And you don't look for a perfect person. You look for the one God's chosen.
So God didn't look for the perfect person. Come on. I mean, how stupid do you have to be to buy this stuff? And guys, you know, a lot of people say, Rich, you can't, that's condescending. You can't treat people like, yes, I can. Yes, I can. And I'm going to try to stop it because, you know, you get people that sit there and listen to this nonsense and they nod their head. They don't know what they're doing. And guys, some people try to profit off it. And the next clip we're going to play you is from two very successful comedians and two successful con people that have managed to trick the conservative party and get them to think that black people support the conservative ideas. But guys, just listen. They're two sisters. And listen, it's almost like it's religious. And at first, when I first started to listen to these clowns, I was wondering where they were getting their, you know, their prompts from. You know, what kind of takeoff they. And guys, now you'll see. They just copy the religious people. They copy the preachers. And it's almost like they're preaching black conservatism. But you know what? Let's show you guys. To show you that it's truthful, or they're trying to be truthful, it was done at a religious university. That's right, Liberty University. So these two black girls got up in front of a crowd of white conservative Christians, and guys, I'm sure they made a fortune. Why? Because all of a sudden, the black people are conservatives. So, Judy, let's have some fun with clip number 7, please.
Liberty University, make some noise! First of all, we would like to say thank you to President Farwell, to all of the pastors, the student body. Thank you so much for the invite. We are so excited about being here. And it is amazing.
It's amazing.
Still. It's amazing.
Yes, it is.
You know, I know you all are wondering, where did these two black girls come from and how? How did all of this start?
That's right.
They're bright. They're entrepreneurs.
And I told Silk, I said, Silk, we're going to a religious college, so don't bring that drink.
No, we can't drink.
Leave that drink at the mansion. You know, we stayed in a beautiful mansion, you all.
You stayed in a beautiful mansion. Isn't that nice?
So you want to know how it all started? Well, here's what happened.
Yes. They don't care. They could stumble for words and make buffoons out of them. The people will still applaud.
I was minding my business, watching my television.
Yeah.
And I called my sister. I said, girl. I said, cut on your TV.
Cut on your TV.
I said, Donald Trump is announcing that he's running for president.
And I stopped what I was doing and turned on my TV.
And then she called me back halfway through. She said, girl. This is how she said it, y'all. She said, this is going to be the next president of the United States.
That's what I said.
That's what you said.
And then she got a chill.
Yes.
Now here's what y'all don't know about Silk. Whenever Silk get a chill, yeah, you got one now.
I got one now, yes, honey.
That means something is about to happen. Something is going to happen.
That's right.
So we didn't think anything else about it. But we noticed how the media and some in the very fake news was trying to change the narrative, trying to change our minds. and we didn't like that. So I picked up my iPad that I got for my birthday. I didn't even realize a camera was on the iPad. Didn't know it.
Didn't know it.
Pulled it out the box and saw that camera, and I started talking, and she started posting it to YouTube. And we started talking about how the media was trying to get us to change our tune and to change our mind. And what we needed to let the media know and everybody know that we have our own mind and we can think for ourselves.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Those boots probably cost $1,000. I mean, these babes are milking the conservatives for all they're worth. Hey, girls, take them for a ride. Fleece them while you can. Show them that Don the Con is not the only one that can trick the simple folk and make a buck at the same time. And guys, I tell you, the next clip is going to be from one of my favorites on Fox News. And it's a quick clip from Juan Williams and how whenever there's a black voice heard in the conservative media, it reaches a higher level because Fox News loves blacks that sell out. And let's prove it, Judy, with clip number 8, please.
When the far right gets a black voice that's saying, hey, you know what, we disagree with some of the orthodoxies on the left, they raise her up and celebrate. Oh, we found a hero. She's a free thinker.
So you think she's an imposter?
Judy, can you play that again? A black voice.
When the far right gets a black voice that's saying, hey, you know what, we disagree with some of the orthodoxies on the left, they raise her up and celebrate. Oh, we found a hero. She's a free thinker.
So you think she's an imposter?
They celebrate a black voice. That's what it's like. And now we're going to play the full clip, and you'll hear all the blacks that Fox News is starting to feature. Why? I don't know. I don't know. Somebody somewhere is saying something. I can't figure it out yet, but we'll get to the bottom of it sooner or later. That's why we call the show Who's Telling the Truth. So, Judy, let's have the full Fox clip with number 9, please.
To her point, Kimberly's point, Juan, don't you think that we've been for many years in this prison of two ideas, whether it's left or right, Republican, Democrat, pro-Trump, anti-Trump, that these are examples of people stepping out of that polarity and saying, I don't have to be that way. Shouldn't we be encouraging that more?
Mm-hmm. It is. It's a reality. It's not, and it doesn't apply to this case because Candace Owens is someone who, is taking money from the NRA for her Turning Point organization, and, therefore the question arises, are you simply endorsing it because that's who your patron is? Or someone who has done business and appeared on InfoWars, the Alex Jones site, and again, it raises lots of red flags, I think, for people on either side because, Alex Jones is a conspiracy theorist and all the like. Boy, and so he is the one of these now retweeting, oh, yeah, we love Candace. Well, wait a second. So in other words, when the far right gets a black voice that's saying, hey, you know what, we disagree with some of the orthodoxies on the left, they raise her up and celebrate, oh, we found a hero. She's a free thinker.
So you think she's an imposter?
I don't know what she
You called her far right. You called her far right.
You're suggesting
You're smearing her, basically.
I'm not smearing her. I'm saying there are legitimate reasons to ask questions, and you guys want to ignore all these questions and simply celebrate her like a free thinker. This is not Tom Sowell. Let me just tell you.
We are not necessarily the first ones to celebrate her as a free thinker. That was Kanye West.
Right. Oh,
that's why we're doing this segment.
The same guy who you put down when he said that George W. Bush was going after black people.
I never put him down, but Kanye has evolved because I suggest you read some of these tweets. The man is a modern-day philosopher.
Oh, yeah, he is.
People on the right and the left can agree.
It's very convenient.
A lot of good things about human development.
Very
not convenient.
Convenient. After Kanye said his thing about President Bush, you were, what a racist, crazy.
We weren't on the air. I was
It was very cool to hate on Kanye. for a real long time.
I'd like to hear what Kimberly has to say.
Thank you, Katie. Appreciate it. Well, girl
Balls in
power.
your court.
With the comments that you made, I think, one, are intended or not, were disrespectful to her. Because she is, no, let me finish. She is a woman. She's a free thinker. She's independent. She's well-educated. And you suggested that she was transactional, that she would just foster thoughts and opinions and viewpoints based on currency exchange, for example.
I don't know. We got to go.
I said it raised,
believe it or not.
I tell you, Fox will defend. You say something nice about conservatism, you get on Fox TV. It's that simple. Anything against it, forget it. They don't want to hear from you. You know? But, you know, speaking of people not wanting to hear of things, you know, Roseanne Barr's show has come back. I never even knew there was an original show, but it's come back, and it seems that a lot of conservatives are praising the show. You know, it seems that Roseanne has taken up with Trump, and Bill Maher is going to call her out, and he's going to call her out, but he's going to point out her past and everything that she said and she's done. And he's going to ask her to be truthful and to be honest. And perhaps, in the next season, they'll be able to say all the things that they really want to be able to say about Trump. But I tell you, Bill Maher handled this with such class. So, guys, I'll tell you, it's a nice clip. Smoke if you got 'em. So, Judy, let's have number 10, please.
Things. But what he does isn't the solution to your problems. It's the cause of them. He's not a champion of the common man. He's a Koch brother in Rip Taylor's wig.
That's true. That is so funny.
So here's the deal. I get that you were mad as hell and wanted to throw a monkey wrench into the whole works, and I won't judge that. But if in the next 6 months you don't see Trump's magic starting to work for you, if you're still trading pills and driving an Uber, wouldn't the more realistic plot line for season 2 be your disillusionment with Donald Trump? There's no shame in it. You saw a miracle product on TV and you ordered it. You impulse purchased a Trump. It promised to drain swamps, build walls, and make things great again. But you got it home, and it flooded your basement, maxed out your credit cards, and dropped your phone in the
Uncle Joey, you bought a defective product, but they don't care. You know, the only thing Uncle Joey and his Republican buddies care about is that there's not a Democrat in the office. Because if there was a Democrat in the White House, things would get so bad, you know. But, Joe, you know, they've tricked you. You know, you guys have been gotten over on, and you sold out, and you see what happens. And, you know, the rest of the show, we're going to have a lot of fun with the opioid crisis, because we're going to show you who profits from it and who doesn't. And who better to start this portion of the show with than Bernie Sanders. And let Bernie, the one guy that you can trust in Washington, explain to us what's going on with opioids and what we can do to prevent the problems. Judy, number 11, please.
When did the executives of the major opioid producing companies know that their products were heavily addictive and that people were dying of overdoses or seeing their lives destroyed? And what did they do about that?
Last year, almost 1 million Americans used heroin, and more than 11 million abused prescription opioids.
The opioid epidemic is a major, major crisis in this country. Over 60,000 people died last year from opioid overdoses. It should not be just the taxpayers who have to help address the problem. The people who caused this problem, if they knew what the problem was about and did nothing about it, they're going to have to cough up a very, very significant amounts of money to help us deal with treatment and deal with prevention. What my legislation does is really something quite simple and something that is very long overdue for the federal government and Congress to be doing. And that is holding the manufacturers of these opioid products accountable. Look, it is one thing if somebody comes up with a product that deals with pain and they don't know that it's addictive. But if they do know that it is addictive and they continue to push this product, and let me tell you, some of these companies were very, very aggressive. They were hiring salesmen to go barging into doctors' offices. They were lying about the nature of the product. If they knew that this product was addictive and they were pushing this product on doctors' offices, they have got to be held accountable. I think, based on what I have read, that they did in fact know that the product that they were selling was highly addictive. They were lying about the product. That's what I think. What we need to do immediately is have the Health Education Labor Committee that I'm on here in the Senate have a hearing and bring the executives forward and put them under oath and ask them that simple question. When did you know that the product that you were selling, OxyContin or whatever it may be, was addictive? And what did you do about that? That's a simple question that we don't have an answer yet. The pharmaceutical industry is one of the most greedy, unscrupulous industries in this country. And I would suspect that next to Wall Street, they have more power over what goes on in Congress than any other entity. Their greed is causing real problems in this country. It remains, taking them on will not be easy because of their power, but that is absolutely something that Congress has got to do.
It's all about greed, isn't it? It's all about the money. And these guys have more than they need, but they want more. Why? I don't know. So what do drug companies do when they get tax breaks? What do they do for their customers? Do they lower their prices on their products? Well, that would be what you think a reasonable company would do, wouldn't you? But not the drug companies, and not the drug companies under Trump, because now they got carte blanche to do whatever they want. So let's see what drug companies do with clip number 12, Judy.
We spent thousands of dollars on prescription drugs just to keep my son alive. Anthony is amazing. He's incredibly happy with all that he's been through. He is a ray of sunshine. When Trump and Republicans passed the Trump tax for their billionaire and millionaire friends, they gave a giant tax cut to wealthy pharmaceutical companies. Now these pharmaceutical companies have announced over $45 billion in shareholder bonuses since the tax law was passed, and not a single one used that tax cut to lower drug prices. Instead of giving CEOs a giant tax break, we could have made it easier for families like ours to afford life-saving medicines we need. The Pfizer CEO got an $8 million bonus, but we got higher drug prices. They promised that giving drug companies a tax break would be good for us, but so far they've just used that money to reward their executives. Pfizer has announced 116 price increases since the Trump tax has passed. They lied to us. We thought this tax cut would benefit our family, but it's only benefiting the rich. While Trump looks out for his rich friends, he's leaving my kid behind.
So the CEOs got bonuses while we got higher prices. God bless America. Right, guys? Right? Isn't this what God wants? People to make more money instead of taking care of the sick? Right? Right? Where's my Christian buddies on this? You know? And I tell you, the next one is, what does Big Pharma do with all the profits and all the money that they're making? Take a guess. They buy back their own stock. And you'll say, well, why do they do that? Well, the next couple of clips, we're going to explain it to you. And after you see why they do that, you'll go, wow, it makes all the sense in the world. So they pad their pockets every possible way they can. Guys, we're going to have fun. Judy, 13, please.
The biggest winners from Trump's corporate tax cuts is the pharmaceutical industry, raking in billions on top of already massive profits. So how are drug makers spending all the extra cash? Investments in research and development? Lower drug prices?
Yeah.
Wrong. Drug companies are using the savings from their huge tax cuts to buy back shares of their own stock, enriching executives and wealthy investors as prescription drug prices continue to skyrocket. According to a new investigative report by Senator Cory Booker's office into the pharmaceutical industry's practices, since the tax law went into effect, drug makers have already announced plans to spend $45 billion buying back shares of their own stock. In earnings calls with investors over the past 3 months, not a single one of the nation's 10 largest pharmaceutical companies said they plan to pass their savings on to the American people in the form of lower drug prices. Money spent on buybacks doesn't lead to new cures or treatments. Stock buybacks don't bring down drug prices. They don't make Americans healthier. Consider pharmaceutical giant Pfizer, which announced $5 billion in stock buybacks for 2018. A month later, the company ended its research into Alzheimer's and Parkinson's cures, laying off hundreds of employees in the process. Pfizer's CEO then received a bonus of $13 million in stock options. At the same time, drug companies, including Pfizer, continue to jack up prices. In the past 14 months, 20 prescription drugs saw their prices rise by more than 200%. Big Pharma wants us to believe that its costs are driven by expensive research and development, when in reality, companies are spending more on stock buybacks. From 2006 to 2015, drug companies spent $500 billion buying back their shares of stocks and issuing dividends. That's 11% more than what they spent on research and development. It's a two-part scam. Pharma executives gouge the public with higher drug prices, while Trump and Republicans line their pockets with bigger tax cuts. This is the reality of trickle-down economics in America.
Guys, you could see why I get upset. And you should be too. I mean, you see stuff like this and you go, wait a minute. This ain't good. This ain't right. And guys, the next clip, we're going to show you why buybacks used to be illegal. That's right. Years ago, a company could not buy back its shares. Why? They didn't want the CEOs to pad their own pockets. So, Judy, let's prove my point with clip number 14, please.
In Trump's view, the economy works well when the stock market does well.
Wrong.
But a big reason stocks rise in value and don't fall as far as they would otherwise is stock buybacks. For years, corporations have spent most of their profits on buying back their own shares of stock, instead of increasing the wages of their employees, whose hard work creates these profits. Stock buybacks are artificial efforts to interfere in the so-called free market to prop up stock prices. Because they create an artificial demand, they force stock prices above their natural level. With fewer shares in circulation, each remaining share is worth more. Buybacks don't create more or better jobs. Money spent on buybacks isn't invested in new equipment or research and development or factories or wages. It doesn't build a company. Buybacks don't grow the American economy. So why are buybacks so popular with corporate CEOs? Because a bigger and bigger portion of CEO pay has been in stocks and stock options rather than cash. So when share prices go up, executives reap a bonanza. The value of their pay from previous years also rises in what amounts to a retroactive and off-the-books pay increase on top of their already outrageous compensation. Now that the new corporate tax cut is pumping up profits, buybacks are on track to hit a record $800 billion this year.
Wow.
Buybacks were illegal until Ronald Reagan made them legal in 1982. Just about the same time wages stopped rising for most Americans. Before then, a bigger percentage of corporate profits went into increasing workers' wages. Trump and Republicans branded their huge corporate tax cut as a way to make American businesses more profitable so they'd invest in more and better jobs. But since corporations were already using their profits for stock buybacks, there's no reason to believe they will use their tax windfall on anything other than more stock buybacks. Let's not compound the error. Make stock buybacks illegal, as they were before 1982.
Now, guys, you didn't know that stock buybacks used to be illegal, did you? Neither did I. So, that's why we surround ourselves with question marks, because of the income inequality. I mean, these guys just want to keep feathering their own bed. I mean, it's hard to believe it, but now we can expose it. With today's technology, they can't get over on us as easy as they used to be able to. But, the rich always seem to think they need more. But, guys, rich people can spend more. They can spend more, but they can't use more. A guy can only wear so many pairs of pants a year. You can only drive so many cars. You can only wear so many suits. There's only a certain thing that, there's only a certain amount of things that rich people can buy. When if we spread the money out evenly among everybody, just think about the purchasing power of the middle class if they were making a living wage. So let's see why the rich don't need more and why there's an imbalance. So Judy, clip 15, please.
Costco and get a bulk pack of... You really think Warren Buffett's going to go down to Costco and get a bulk pack of toilet paper if he gets another tax cut? Hell no. He's fine. He's Warren Buffett. Besides, he's probably got one of them fancy French butthole washing things anyway. Any extra money that goes to a rich person is way more likely to end up in an offshore savings account than it is the local economy. The basic point is this. Rich people have so much money and so much stuff that giving them another tax cut doesn't really move the needle, economically speaking. Maybe you finally get the fan belt fixed on your car, support a local mechanic, and get your ass to work on time. Maybe you take the family out to a nice dinner, support a local business and local workers, because you know you're going to leave a good tip. Who knows? Might even put a down payment on one of them butthole washing things. Whatever you do, either way, the point is this. Businesses thrive and grow when they are selling things. And that can only happen when customers, people like you and me, have money to spend. So instead of giving another tax cut to the 1% so we can send even more money to the Cayman Islands, why don't we give a tax cut to the 99% and they can do a hell of a lot more with it? When workers have more money, businesses have more customers. Believe it or not, this incredibly simple statement is considered by many to be economic heresy. That's because rich guys tend to write the economic textbooks, and their rules say, the more money I have, the better off everybody will be. You've heard it all before. The rich are job creators. And the more money they have, the more jobs they can create. But that don't really make any sense. See, trickle-down logic states when you give a billionaire more money, it gets injected back into the economy. In fact, the whole Trump tax scam is based on the lie that tax cuts for the rich result in wage increases for workers. The fact is, the rich are already spending at capacity as is. They're rich. So share this video if you're tired of waiting on wealth to trickle down.
Guys, if that isn't the truth, right? He said, when workers have more money, businesses have more customers. What could be easier than that? If you can't understand that, simple economics, right, Joey? Uncle Joey. So anyway, guys, what's the one thing that happens when the rich want to get richer and the greedy want to get greedier, it affects us all. And how does it affect us? Guys, most of the times, so many people don't have health care in this country, and it's a shame because we spend more on health care in this country per capita than any other country in the world, but we don't spend it properly. So, you know, like we always say on the show, people say, oh, you guys want things for free. No, we don't want things for free. But the money that we spend, we want it to be spent more realistically, more in the favor of the customers instead of the corporations. Get the idea? See how this works? So anyway, the next clip, we're going to show you people that can't afford health care and what happens. And when you see the amount of people, and I think this clinic only comes through once a year. It's a shame, guys, but this is America. And why does this happen? Because some people want more than others. And it's the means that they go about it that bothers me. So, Judy, let's have clip number 16, please. Wealthiest country in the world. Can you believe it?
We got here about 12:30 last night. I actually come up here to get new license. Everything's so expensive that I can't afford it.
I have no insurance. I'm disappointed in the healthcare debate.
RAM stands for Remote Area Medical, and what RAM does is bring all volunteer providers to patients in need of either dental, vision, or medical care. It's a difficult road to go to get your health care this way, and it shouldn't be happening here in our country.
So that's my name.
Okay.
And that's my cell number.
Okay.
So if things don't go the way you need them,
Well,
let me know.
oh, thank God.
I was really excited to have a second neurologist come and help out. I could tell right away, you know, that his approach was excellent.
Here, it becomes really obvious that we have major gaps, total inadequacies in our healthcare system. People should be able to have quality healthcare. It shouldn't be a luxury.
Where did we go wrong? What happened? We put profits before people. That's what happened. That's what it's plain and simple. It's easy. And the next clip we're going to show you is John Larson on the floor of the House. And he's going to explain FICA to us. And you know, guys, a lot of times you hear about this nonsense, entitlements. These people want their entitlements. They think they're entitled. Hey, you know what? When you pay for something, you're entitled to the benefits that you get when you're involved with it. So guys, let's have a look at FICA and let's see what entitlements are all about, and let's try to change our conception of entitlements. Judy, 17, please.
What a profiles in lack of courage this is today, exhibited in the House of Representatives. But it does give us an opportunity, however limited the time is, to expose a lot of the myths, like this notion that the other side continues to perpetuate, that Social Security and Medicare are entitlements. Newsflash, it's the insurance that the American people have paid for. Newsflash, 10,000 baby boomers a day become eligible for Social Security. Newsflash, the average woman in this country when they retire gets $14,000 annually from Social Security. And for more than half of them, that's all they have to live on. And yet these bastions of courage on the other side would like to cut these programs, not by coming to the floor of the House of Representatives and having a vote on it,
of course
not by having a discussion in a committee or even the semblance of a hearing, but somehow, as Mr. Neal said, with a mask on, decide that they're going to introduce an amendment where they'll never, ever have to vote on what their constituents actually have to face day in and day out. These are American citizens who have paid through an insurance program, not an entitlement. It's called FICA, the Federal Insurance Contribution Act. Whose contribution? The American people's contribution. If you want to vote to take it away, have the courage to bring
the Federal Insurance Contribution Act. What more do you need to know? It's insurance. You pay your insurance. Comes time for a claim, guess what, guys? You file a claim. It's not an entitlement. Guys, it was a pleasure. Who knows what's going to happen next week? There's our buddy Martino. Marco, thank you, Marco. He takes good care of us, guys. We'll see you next week.